Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to my viewers. This morning I want to give a quick information on Social Security benefit to self-employed workers in Portugal and also to the English community on how to get the Social Security number so that they can get access to the health coverage of this Social Security. But before I tackle that information, I would like to give a quick one on SEF information on their resumption. So in my previous video, I did give information that SEF was going to give an appointment to those that has been cancelled chronologically, and per the information given earlier, it was supposed to be in June. But God being so good, I think the government is putting things in place for the system to work back. So SEF has resumed resident permit granting processes. So if you apply for a card and you've not gotten the card, SEF has resumed back to work, and that they are granting or issuing the cards. So the Foreigners and Borders Service, SEF, announced this Sunday that it resumes the process of granting residence permit and that it served 1,518 citizens in the first week of gradual reopening of the service stations. In a note sent to the press, SEF said that it resumed the process of granting residence permit. Those services had been cancelled, that's those whose appointments were cancelled, given the measures to contain the spread of the COVID-19. With the gradual reopening of 23 of its service stations, now they have reopened 23 of their service stations in the country. And also, they report that they have already served about 1,118 citizens. So if you have an appointment with SEF and it was cancelled, please be alert on your phone, because SEF is going to call you and reschedule your appointment. If you miss their call, please try and call them back, because if you miss the call, there is no way they can give you a new appointment. So if you miss their call, call them back to reschedule this appointment, because it's an important thing to do and become a legal resident in the country. Before I talk about this social security issue, I want to tell my viewers to stay home and stay safe. Also, about social security benefit for freelancers or self-employed individuals in the country. Before, the Social Security didn't make any provision for persons who work as self-employment to enjoy the benefit like the normal or others are enjoying while working in other companies. Because once you are unemployed, the Social Security is supposed to provide you with certain benefit to help you alleviate some of the costs that you incur. So the Parliament and the new administration have instituted a new system that is allowing people who are self-employed or who has freelancers to access this benefit. So I want to read from the Social Security website to the audience of my viewers. The new social support for informal workers has a maximum duration of 2 months, explained the executive of Antonio Costa in the decree law published this Thursday. In order to have access to this aid, workers must, however, comply with a kind of loyalty period to Social Security for a minimum period of 24 months. With a view to promoting entry into the formal economy, the government launched extraordinary support for workers who are not covered by the Social Security system, provided that they declare the beginning or restart of independent activity with the tax administration. Once this condition is met and support is requested, Social Security transfers the amount corresponding to the half the value of the Social Support Index, that is 219.4 euros. In return, the informal worker has to keep the self-employed activity open for a minimum period of 24 months after the termination of payment of the benefit. If this loyalty period fails, the worker will have to return all support to Social Security. Until now, informal workers were not entitled to any extraordinary support, but the government has now decided to launch new aid. The new support package approved and promulgated this Thursday also includes flexible access to unemployment benefit, aid for green receipts that do not meet the guarantee period, and extension of social protection to the numbers, managers with workers. So, Social Security is giving an opportunity to workers who work as freelancers to get access to this benefit, but there are conditions, and that after you get this benefit, you are obliged to open the activity for 24 months. 24 months. And on the measures of social protection, government approves measures to increase social protection under COVID-19. The Council of Ministers approved this Thursday a set of measures that aim to increase the protection of Portuguese workers, expanding, in some cases, the scope of protection of measures already approved and creating new regimes to cover more workers. In the case of members of statutory bodies, managing partners, to support granted similar to that available to the self-employed is now attributed to those who register an annual turnover of up to 80,000 euros, regardless of the number of workers who have in charge. The universe of companies in the situation is estimated at 190,000. A new regime was also created to cover self-employed workers who did not meet the condition for access to the measures to support the reduction of activity. Self-employed workers who are exempt from paying contributions or who have started their activity less than 12 months ago will be covered with support of up to 219.4 euros. On the other hand, the extraordinary support for reducing the activity of self-employed workers for those who meet the condition of access, as of those managing partners, now has a minimum limit also fixed. Access to unemployment benefit was also made more flexible. The Council of Ministers approved the reduction of the guarantee period for access to this subsidy by half, from 180 days to 90 days in the general regime, and from 120 days to 60 days in the case of workers who are employed due to the expiry of a fixed-term contract or termination of the employment contract during this trial period. The duration of the allowance in these cases is identical to that of the new guarantee period. Exceptionally, access to social insertion incomes RSI is no longer subject to the insertion contract. So, as I explained in the video, it's a good news for those who work as freelancers to get this benefit, and it's going to help you to incur or pay back some of the costs that you're going to incur during this period. And to my English community who also wants to know the benefit of Social Security on health, the Social Security gave this information that contributions are made by both employer and employee. So if you are working in a country, the employer and employee makes contribution to your health coverage in the country. So employer contribution covers work-related accident and occupational illness. The Portuguese government pays for the health care coverage, while the employee pays for the other benefits, including maternity, old age, pension, and disability. So the health care coverage, once an individual begins working in Portugal and is registered with Social Security, they are automatically registered for healthcare coverage. Deductions for coverage are automatically taken from their pay, and a healthcare card is issued by the local Ministry of Health. The healthcare card was known as the Livre de Assistência Médica. It's now called the Card Carton du Utente, or in English, Service User Card, Carton du Utente. Visit to doctors and dentists, to medical centers, call Centro de Saúde, and hospitais públicos affiliated with the Ministry of Health are virtually free under the system. A small charge is paid for some consultations and treatment under the modest patient co-participation introduced a few years ago. The cost of necessary medication is partially covered, though pharmaceuticals demand non-essentials are not covered. Registering with the Social Security. So if you watch this information, you want to now register with the Social Security to enjoy this benefit, it says that registration to obtain a Social Security number is done only once. The number issued is used throughout the holder's life. To apply for Social Security card, Cartão de Segurança Social, says contact the local office of the Social Security Institute. Find the nearest Social Security office on the Social Security Institute website. If you go there, you type in the Social Security, it will give you the nearest map and you visit there. And you must go with the following required documents to apply for the number: passport, Portuguese tax number, that is fiscal number or national insurance number, residency card, cartão de residência or evidence of application, proof of address in Portugal, comprovativo de morada, employee or trabalhadores por conta de outro most complete form. That's your employer must complete a form that is working with you. And this form is downloadable on their website. And if you are self-employed, Trabajadores Independent, download the form of independent workers and submit your application to the Social Security Office, and you are going to enjoy this benefit. Once there is a problem or once you do not have enough income from your work, you can apply to the Social Security for either assistance or health benefit. If you enjoyed this video, kindly subscribe to my channel, kindly like my channel, and share my channel to the audience around you. Thank you and stay safe. Ciao.